Yes. Okay. So let's start. So we were starting with intermediate representation. So we are in last class we were discussing about this intermediate representation. So three parts in it. So we were discussing about the first phase, that is the graphical intermediate representation. So in that we discussed saying that we had tree that itself has been classified to be as two categories. We have said it is under tree there are three, and we have graphical representation also. So under graphs also we have three categories. So under tree, we have categorized it to be a sparse tree. Then in parse tree, we said we will be having all the non-terminals along with the string contents. So it is going to occupy more space. So to reduce the space constraint, we can go with the second type category, which we call it to be as abstract syntax tree. There we have avoided this non-terminals, but still we will have the tree generated based on the strings. So a little bit space has been reduced. Space requirement has been reduced, but still we have the redundant contents. So to avoid that, we go for the third type, which we call it to be as directed acyclic graph. So that means directed acyclic graph, which means that if you are having any redundant contents, we were mapping it to the previously, the first one which was being occupied. So the first time whenever you have the string character or the string generated, only at that point of time the node would be created. Later on in that same expression, if there is no value change, then that same node would be reused when you're creating the tree. So that is what we have discussed with in terms of directed acyclic graph. Okay, and so all these things we have covered. Next, moving on with the graphs. So we started discussing about this control flow graph. Okay, and in a hurry burry we finished with one example. So I'll just once again tell about just discuss in the brief about what that example is, and then come back to this theory part. Okay, so if this is the code snippet what has been given to you. So for this code snippet, if you are asked to draw the control flow graph, so control flow graph, in short, we can call it to be a CFG. Okay, and when we are trying to draw the control flow graph for this, how we will generate is we have to try taking out with respect to the labels, and we have to form the basic blocks. Okay, so we first have to rewrite this particular given code snippet. This has to be rewritten in such a way that there is no loop getting formed. Okay. So when I say there is no loop getting formed, that means which you have to write it, the corresponding code which you have to write is with respect to your assembly code, how we have written. That is a simple if statement, and by using the labels, you have to jump to that particular label and you can recreate the same scenario. Okay, instead of saying the term to be as while and all, you are recreating it by using simple if statement. Okay. So for whenever you are using the simple if statement, what has to happen? What we will be doing? We will use the labels. So when you are using the labels, first here we don't have explicit labels. So how we are going to have the labels created? So for that, what we have done for each code snippet, we have numbered it. That is, we have sequenced it. So for each line we have sequenced. So we have each line according to the sequence how it has to be executed. It has been numbered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like this it has been numbered. Along with that, instead of using this while, what exactly this while has to do, that also has been recreated by using the simple if statement. Okay, so when you're writing by using simple if statement, how it has to be written? It will be easy for us if you write it according opposite to it. What was the actual code? For this actual code, if you write the opposite of it, then it would be easy for us to recreate. So if you are saying this while loop, the condition says you have to enter the while loop if x is less than 10, right? So when you are rewriting this by using if statement, how it could be written? It could be written as x is opposite of x less than 10 is nothing but x greater than 10, greater than or equal to 10. So if x is greater than or equal to 10, then go to the step which has to come out. So first, that means go to the statement where it has to reach to this particular statement. So which number, what is the number given for this particular statement? It is numbered as 8. So that's the reason why it has written go to 8 step. Okay. After that, it has been written one more if statement we have here. So this is a simple if again. So opposite of this if statement, what we have, x is equals to 4. So that means opposite of it means, which means that x is not equals to 4. So I am writing x is not equals to 4. So not equals has been represented in this way. Okay. If it is not equals to 4, that means where it has to reach. So what statement it has to execute? It has to, if this condition is not satisfied, where it has to go? It has to go to end loop. So that means where, what is the state, what is the number in the sequence? End loop means which is nothing but go to the sequence number 2. So that means go to step 2. Sorry, step 7. So this is the line which it has to focus. And then next comes, if this condition is not satisfied, then it will be executing this x is equals to x minus 1. It goes on according to the sequence. Okay. So till here it is fine. So we have numbered it, and when we are writing the conditions, rewriting the conditions, how we have written based on the opposite one, so that it is easy for us to map the labels. Okay. Now, how the next step what we have to see is we have to form the basic blocks. So now when we have to form the basic blocks, what we do? We will see where and all the labels has been, that is where and which all labels we have called. So for example, say here I am saying go to step 8, right? So 8. So I am referring to this particular step. So this I will make this to be as a block. This is one of my block. Next, if you see, go to step 7. So 7 I am referring. So this will be another block. So whichever labels I am referring, so those will become the blocks. Okay. Next we have go to 2. So 2 means which is this one. So from here, which all comes? So everything will be referred, which will be taken under a block. So everything which comes under this will be taken as a single block. Okay. Other than after taking out the after finding out whichever labels we have mapped, so all the labels have been made under a single block. Remaining all will be made to be as another block. That is what is considered to be as the basic block. Is it clear?
Ma'am, in step 5, we can ignore that, like we can write go to step 2 directly. Why are we writing it in a separate step?
For which step? Step 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, instead of writing it to be as go to step 7 and then go to step 2, fine, it could be written. There is no issues. We can write. So here what we have done is we have what I have done is like directly converted the same code into this, because we are just automating it, right? So when you write an algorithm, it will be written. So you, if you are when I am writing for this particular scenario, I can write go to step 2. But when I automate this, there is a generic rule which has to be followed. So keeping that in mind, I just wrote it accordingly.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So if you write here, when you are writing for exam, if you write go to 2 also, it's fine. But this has been written according to the automation part. So now this will become one block. This is another block and this is another block. So these two will be another blocks. So, okay, small correction. I made entire thing to be as a small same block. Let me remove this mask. I'm getting suffocated. Okay, now better. Small correction. I made label 2 is being focused. So this will be one particular block because label 2 is the one. This will be a separate block. This will be a separate block. Right. So this is how the blocks would be created.
Ma'am, 5 should be a separate block, no, ma'am.
5 should, why we, 5 should be separate block?
Since 2 and 5 are similar and we have marked 2 to be a separate block.
No, are we mapping, that is, are we take anywhere in this program, are we saying go to 5? Hello?
Ma'am, we are not saying even go to 3, no ma'am.
But this will be sequence, right? So when you are first we are taking out to the so see, that's what I'm saying. First, when we start,
Like,
how the automation starts is, how the algorithm works is, first we have to identify whichever labels we have pointed out. So here we have pointed out with respect to go to 8, go to 2, go to 7. So only those will be first made to be as a block. So first label go to 2 has been told. So this will be made to be as a single block. So go to 7. This will be made to be as a single block. Go to 8. So this will be made to be as another block. Are you getting? So these are our labels. The sequence numbers are our labels. So keeping these sequence numbers, we have made this to be as a block. Once we have made the single, that is the basic blocks based on the labels, after that, rest all whatever is left out. Accordingly, we can make it to be as another blocks. So what all are the left out things? The left out things are this first one. This is one block. Next, next one, if you see, this is another block. And here there is a condition. So I can make till here one block. And here a single statement is there. So if I can go with this or I can combine with the next statement. It is up to them. So this is how we make it.
Yes, ma'am. Like we are not marking with the states with go to symbol. Instead, we are marking the states which is pointed by go to.
Go to.
Yes.
Okay, students, there are two things. One is the entry of the basic block and the other one is the exit of that particular basic block. Entry is like the begin, you can have some label and that can be the entry point for the basic block. And similarly for the basic block exit, you may have some branching like go to 8, go to 7, something like that. So then you are forced to end that block and you have to start with a new block. I think now it is fine, students. Yeah, whatever you told Priyadarshan, same thing I told in a different way, exit and entry for a particular block. So like that it will decide based on the label. We will have the entry, and similarly based on the branching like go to 8, go to something, if it is there, you will have to end that block and you have to start the new block. Okay.
Okay, so once these blocks have been created, we can, by using the edges, you can just connect it. So usually, since it is a control flow graph, usually we will be connecting it in the linear fashion. And the only thing which we have here is only simple if statements are the one which we will be having. So accordingly, we will branch. So now, once this basic blocks have been formed, you can just number it. So we can number it saying each block to be as B1. So now no more we will be using these sequence numbers. Now we are just representing it with respect to these blocks. So B2. So like this, it will be going. So when you are pointing that is from one block to another block, when you're drawing the edges, you will be referring the blocks with respect to these names, B1, B2, the next block to be as B3. So like that it goes on. So keeping that, this is how the graph would be drawn. Okay. So this is similar to your flow chart. So first one, we will have the entry point. So for the given snippet, code snippet, this is the one which is the entry point. So starting. So from the starting, we will reach to this one, and this box has been referred as B1. And the second one, which was referred as B2. So this is one box. So now the next one is B3. Entire thing till all the two statements followed by the if statement. Why we have made a separation here? Why? Because here it is an if statement. So based on if statement, the next if it is true, we go to another statement. If it is false, we go to another statement, right? So for that point, we just separated the next expression has been split. So from one block to another block, we are pointing. And from here, we reach to go to B2 itself. So now when we are renamed, that is now once this basic blocks has been created, we number those blocks, and wherever you have these go to statements with written to be as 8, 7 and 2, it will be renamed with respect to the basic block numbers. So like B1, B2, B4, B3, B5, B6. With these names, it will be renamed. So now if you say 8, so 8 is referred, in this case now if you take this case, 8. So 8 is referred with respect to y is equals to x plus 5. So which is referred as B4 here. So when I say B4, if you see here, it has been renamed as B4. Okay. Now if you see here, x is if x is not equals to 4, go to 7. So here 7 in the sense which is nothing but go to this particular statement. So this comes under which block? I have named this block to be as B6, right? So this is the one which has been named here. Okay. So the last one, if you see, go to sequence number 2. So now I will not use anymore the sequence number 2. It will be referred with respect to the block numbers. So what is the block number given for this sequence 2, which is B2. So accordingly, it has been changed to B2. Okay. Now see the arrows. So from the sequence, the starting point, from the first basic block, we are reaching to the next block, which is the if condition. From here, we have two cases. Whenever we say if statement, we will have true as well as the false part. So if it is true, we reach to B3, execute this step. And here once again, we have an if statement. If this condition is true, you go to B6. So B6 means which is pointed here. If this condition is false, then we reach to B5 and then reach to B6. So once B6 is done, what happens? We go back to B2. Okay. And from here, if this condition is false, that is B4 has been referred. So which is nothing but y is equals to x plus 5. So which is our B4 block. So if this condition is that is if this statement is executed, what is the next statement? We don't have any more statements. So it is exit. So we are stopping our graph. So that is we are stopping the sequence execution part. So we have the entry point, we have the exit point. So similarly for each block, we will have the entry as well as the exit. So for each block, so each block is drawn with respect to the rectangular box. Okay. So at least you have the idea. So one more example we'll see.
Ma'am? Yeah. For the if block, you didn't mention true or false, no ma'am.
For which one?
This. Like
for which
left.
block?
After if block, ma'am, we have two ways, no, ma'am.
That is what by using this go to statement it will be executing, right?
No, on true it goes to the left and false it goes to right, no, ma'am. Like by
to
default,
remove
That
that only we are using this graph, no?
we will not have labels mentioned on edges. It's not, we will never mention any labels on the edges. Edges are just to connect from one block to another block. That's it. So internally, based on if this condition is getting satisfied, go to B4. So this will be taken care. So go to B4 means it will be saying which is the block B4. It will go to that particular block. So internally it is maintained.
okay.
Okay. Flowchart and all, what it is for our reference we are writing true false, right? So internally how it will be maintained, the same fashion it is here also internally that will be taken care. Okay, oh, I shouldn't have shown this answers here. Okay. Anyways, don't see the answer. Just try to do it. What happened? My pen is not coming. Okay, fine. Okay, so just take out one more example here. So we have product equals to 0, L equals to 1, T equals to address of A minus 4, T4 equals to address of B minus 4, T1 equals 4 into L, T3 equals T2 of T1, that is array representation, T5 equals T4 of T1, T6 equals T3 into T5, product equals product plus T6, I equals L equals L plus 1. Sorry, it is I. So if I is less than or equals to 20, go to step 5. Okay. Here, how many go to statements we have? We have a single go to statement, right? So which says step 5. So how do I make the block? So it is referring to block number 5. So I can make here, my pen is not working in this, I don't know why. So we can make this 5 as a separate block. And if you see here, from here, rest all are sequence of statements. There is no other blocking. There is no other breaking statements. And at the end, we have a single if statement. So what we can do?
Slideshow mode.
It is in slideshow mode. No.
No.
I have.
Once again, you share, maybe it will work.
Yes. Now it is visible.
It is not in the presentation mode still. Now it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So okay, step 5. So step 5 means which comes over here. So we can make this to be as a block, right? So now if you want, you can make rest all as another block, which is left out. You can make this as another block. Rest the remaining things this as another block. So we have only one single go to statement, go to 5. So when I say go to 5, so this was the only one. So I have made this as one block. This remaining things I have made it to be as another block, right? So since now when I am connecting it, how do I connect it? So I will just number it now. So which I can say this to be as B1. I can say this to be as B2. This to be as B3. So now I'm not writing completely. I'm just writing B1. So B1, which is represented as a rectangular box, all the statements you have to write. So from B1, I will reach to B2 block, which is my fifth state. So from B2, I will be moving on to B3 state. So which I'll be putting it inside a rectangular box. So now once this condition, that is once by checking that condition, if I is less than or equals to 20, if that condition satisfies, it goes to B2. Okay, so this is like a do while statement. So do while whatever we had, that has been rewritten by using this in this way. Okay. So we had a code snippet given by using a do while statement that has been rewritten in this format. And now this is what we will be having. So we will have an entry point here. So which will be represented in an oval shape from here to here. And we will have another exit point from which will be mentioned here. It's an oval shape. Okay, so this way also you can draw. Here it has been B2 and B3, they have put it under a single block. Why? Because after that rest all are the sequence of statements. So they have merged B2 and B3 together and they have written it as a single block. So this is also correct. So if you write something like this, because in between there is no, that is from B2, there is no other path to go on. So I have to go to B3 itself. So if you write like this or if you draw it in this way, both are correct. Okay. And one more thing, when you are drawing it in the block format, you have to make sure that no more you will be mentioning it to be as go to 5. You will be mentioning the block name. So what was the block which has been numbered? So that is the number which you have to refer here. So which is B2. Okay. Here what we have shown is B2 and B3, they have merged together and they have shown it. This way also you can draw it. Why? Because here there is no confusion, because after B5 anyways it will be, there is no, if there is no two different paths. There is a single path all alone. So keeping that in mind, they have merged B2 to, that is B2 and B3 has been merged together and they have made it to be as a single block. So one edge has been reduced. So this is the final one which they have drawn and shown. So if you stop it drawing like this, also it is fine. If you draw it like this, also it is fine. For this type of scenarios. Is it clear? Because this is similar to flowchart. This is not flowchart, because internally, whenever we say go to statements and all, if conditions comes into picture, internally all the working will be happening. When the condition is true, what it has to, how it will be done. You just imagine how your machine, that is when you were working with your 8086 code, how it was working. So that same scenario here also it is, this is how it will be working internally. Okay. So can you try for this case? For this example, Here also the actual while loop, everything has been rewritten, and I have given it in this format. Wherever you had the while, I have converted to simple if statement, and this has been written it in this way. So now which all will be the first basic blocks here?
Three to 13.
3 to 13. So first we will have 3, which is here. So 3 will be our first one. Then 2, which is our next one, and 13. So 13. So if you see 13 statement, which is a simple statement itself. After that also simple statement, next also simple statement, next also simple statement. Only at the end you have condition. So in the before example, I have made 13 as a, that is like separate block. Instead, if you want, you can merge everything together. Like the final one which was shown, like that you can just keep it together. This is also fine.
Ma'am, can we merge 1, 2, and 3 since there are no?
No, you can't merge 1, 2, and 3. Why? Because from 9th step, you are going to 3rd step. So if you merge 1, 2, and 3 together, when you say go to step 3, that means you will be moving on to block 1. So where you will be once again initializing I value, J value, and this one. But according to the code, you don't require the first 2 statements. You require it to be executed only from the 3rd step. Right?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
So that can't be merged. Here I merged because there is no other branching part here, or no one is referring to that particular labels also. So keeping that, we have merged all this together. Okay. Now wherever you have the if statements, there accordingly you can just have the blocks mentioned. So here you can split, here you can split, and here you will have a split. Because you have an if statement. Okay. So hope you have drawn. So here we will have another first block. So second block, then third block. Then from here all the sequence in between we are not referring anywhere. So here we will break because we have an if statement. And here once again we have I, and in this one I2, this was another block. This we will keep it as a separate one. Okay. So we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 blocks. So you can name it B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7. So once this numbering is done, accordingly you can change. Accordingly when you change, so here 3 means here it will become B3. You will no more refer this to be as 3, it will be referred as B3. Here 2 will not be referred as 2, here it will be referred as B2. Now 13. 13 means which is numbered as B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6. 13. So it will be a self loop. So it will be B7 itself. Okay. Here one block has been reduced. The same thing. What we have done for 13, B13, that same thing has been applied for B3 also. So accordingly, one block has been reduced. So if you leave it as such also, there is no issues. If you get B7 blocks also, there is no issues. But you have to make sure that you have renamed it correctly. Okay, so both the ways we have shown you, one with merging and one without merging. So both the scenarios. So hope it is clear. Accordingly, you have to draw the edges from one block to another block. Okay, so now it is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so last example. So here, instead of giving sequence numbers, we have just given you the labels directly, which is named as L1 and L0. Okay, L1 and L0 directly have given the labels instead of sequence numbers. So can you try drawing for this? It's a very simple one. So L0, so which is this one, go to L1, so which is this one. So you will end up having 3 blocks. So if this, since it is an if statement, this has been made as a block. If this is true, you will be executing T1 equals this part. If it is false, you are directly going to L0 label. So go to L0. So L0, which has been labeled with y is equals to 0. And after that, which is another, it's not a condition, it's directly a go to statement. So if you merge also, there is no issues. So you can merge these two steps and kept it. If it is done, then it will go back to L1. So either it will take this path, it will reach here and then go to L1. Okay. So this is about control flow graph. So now I'll just tell about the theory part. So done. So remaining things we'll see it later. Is it visible, the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, you by this time you know that how the control flow graph is drawn. So we need the basic blocks. So how do we first create the basic blocks, which is nothing but first you have to identify the labels. So based on the labels, you would be making out the first basic blocks, and from that the remaining left out contents also will be made to be as a single entity. That is single entity, which is nothing but by which I can say it to be as again a block, basic block. So now once you form all the blocks, you will be just naming it. So once the naming is done, then you can say about the flow of that control. So how that blocks will be flown, that you can just mention it according to the code. That is internally you can just mention the program. So that means you can internally it will be mentioned like you would be moving from block 1 to block 2, block 2 to block 3. So that blocking part, that step by step block by block execution will be shown. Okay, so this graph, whatever you have shown, this is a directed graph. So whenever we say graph, you have the definition. So graph is represented with respect to node and its edges, right? So which is considered to be as N and E. So how this will be represent, it will be each node, which is nothing but the basic blocks. The basic blocks is the one which is considered to be as the nodes. So how many of our nodes you have? All the nodes will be considered to be as under capital N. Similarly, how many edges you have? each edge, that is from node 1 to node 2. So like that, from node I to node j, whatever edges you have, that will be represented. So that we can know the transfer of control from one block to another block. So this is what will be internally done. Okay. So this is the definition for control flow graph. So now when I say control flow graph, as all of us know, so when we are showing about the flow, we know that we can't have the entry from that is like we can't have entry from any location. We should have an entry from a specific location. So that entry would be a unique entry. Similarly, exit also would be a unique exit. So we can't step out from any place. That is from any node we can't jump out. So that also will be a unique one. So we have to specifically mention it. Everything has to be explicitly given, identified also. Similarly, when we say entry, so we will have unique entry for one CFG. But within that CFG itself, that is from one node to another node, when we are taking it out, we can have multiple entries. So few nodes when you see, for example, the last example, whatever we have taken, we had multiple entries. That is for the last node L0, if you see, we had an entry from L1 node as well as from the true part also, right? So we can have multiple entries. That is, if you are drawing the procedures, this we will see when we are discussing in the procedures. So similar to that, so in CFGs, that is control flow graphs, when we discuss it with respect to procedures, we can have multiple entries. Okay. So for the simple code snippets, we will have unique entry and unique exit. Hope it is clear. Okay. Similarly, when we have if statements itself, that is whenever we have the if statements for procedures, similarly for when we are discussing with respect to procedures and all, as it supports multiple entries, say multiple entries. Okay, this point we will discuss it when we start discussing about the procedures. So right now you just understand the control flow graph taken out for drawn for procedures. It supports for multiple entries as well as multiple exits. But whereas a simple control flow graph drawn for a simple code snippet, that is within a block, when you are saying, that will be having unique entry as well as unique exit. Okay. So keeping that, we just discussed about what we call by this nodes. Nodes are nothing but the rectangle shaped ones, which has been represented, which has been identified initially with respect to the labels. And edges would be nothing but from one node to another node, which shows the flow of how it goes. So similarly, we can't have the control flow graph represented in the cyclic manner. It should be acyclic. So this has to be taken note. So that is the reason why wherever you had a while or do while statement, that has been converted into a simple assembly code by using simple if statement. And we have removed the cyclic fashion, that is the cyclic format has been removed. And by using labels, we have just redrawn the formation, and that is what we have shown it graphically. Okay. So this was the example which we discussed. Okay. So this is for you to do it. So I think you can do this one, right? So this is by using repeat until, so which is nothing but similar to your do while. So try it out. So previous one example I have shown directly, which in that example I had directly taken the code has been directly converted to assembly code and it has been written and sequenced. For that we have drawn the control flow graph. Now you have to do it from you have to apply the assembly code conversion also to this part. So try this. By next class, if you're having any doubts, get back to us. Okay. We'll move on to the next part. Okay. So now if you see the control flow graphs, this control flow graphs are considered to be as a hybrid notation. So why we are saying it to be as hybrid intermediate representation? Why? Because if you see each node that is graphically represented, and within each node we have a set of statements like this. So that means linear intermediate representation is also there. So this is what we call it to be as the hybrid intermediate representation. So where some portion is represented in the graphical way, that is from one node to another node, all these are considered in a graphical fashion. And within that node, you are having some contents mentioned. The sequence of steps, how it has to go, that also has been mentioned in the code format. So it is a mix, that is your control flow graph is a mix of linear intermediate representation as well as graphical, that is a structural one. So this can be considered to be as the hybrid intermediate representation also. Okay, so that is what this slide says, talks about. So control flow graph in hybrid intermediate representation. So where each block, within that block itself, we can have the statements mentioned. If explicitly if you take out, it could be little bit in the that is in the linear fashion, that is like more assembly code if you put, then it would be then it is purely considered to be as your hybrid intermediate representation. Okay. Okay. Now moving on to the single statement block. What is the single statement block? Is nothing but, see, here we have put all the statements, that is all for B3 block, we have 3 statements, right? Instead of putting 3 statements together, we could have made each block, each statement a separate block. Okay, I think you can just imagine for the same graph, you see the first statement, that is B1, which is having a single statement. The B2, which is also having a single statement. B4, which is also having a single statement. B5 is also having single statement, as well as B6 also is having a single statement. Now when you B3, that is for the block B3, we have 3 statements under B3 block. Instead, if you are putting it as a single statements, that is if you make for each statement separate block, then we call those type of graphs to be a single statement blocks. That is the control flow graph with single statements in each block. Okay, so that is easy for that is directly your code would be converted, that is whatever assembly code you have made, that would be each statement you are putting it into each block, and from one statement to another statement you are drawing it. Coding wise it will be easy, because from one statement to another statement you have to move. So block 1 to block 2, so it will be it will be almost in a linear fashion. But the problem going with this would be, what would be the problem? You can only imagine and say this. If you are putting for this case itself, if the number of blocks are for each statement, if you put in each block, what would happen?
Many blocks. The number
We
of
will
blocks.
have many blocks. Yes, the number of blocks would be more. Now when the number of blocks are more, what happens? Easily we can easily map from one block to another block if it is moving in a sequence, that is in the sequential pattern, that is there is no loop, no if conditions and all, then it is easy. But if in our programs we will be having a looping part, right? Loop in the sense, if statements, conditions would be mentioned. So whenever we have conditions, we would be stepping backward, we would be stepping forward. So all those things would be done, right? So that means we will have computation, extra computation should be done. Along with the computation part, which would be almost same, but along with that, extra more thing which we will be having is the space part. The space occupation would be more. So that is what is about the single statement block. So if you are having control flow graph where to have a little bit more space where we can save some more space, then we can go with this control flow graph where you can merge few statements together. Instead, if you want to go with single statements in each block, then we call those to be as in the control flow graph with single statement block. Okay, so as I mentioned, as I have highlighted, it occupies more space, that is more memory, and little longer time when compared with the previous one. Okay. Okay, so moving on, before moving on to the next step, you should know about what is the importance of this control flow graph. I'll stop with this. So when we have all these informations mentioned clearly in the blocks, what are the things which we can analyze? We can easily analyze how many registers we need to have. We can easily analyze whether we can that is instructions could be rewritten or reordered so that it can be optimized. That is, for optimization purpose, we can use this control flow graph. So that is what is about this control flow graph. Okay. Next is data dependency, which we will start in the next class. So hope you have understood about control flow graph. And one more thing is there for T2. Hope all of you are here. For T2, we thought we will avoid this intermediate representation form. So your portions will be, for T2, it will be bottom-up parsing and semantic analysis. Hello, all of you are there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought no one is listening. Okay. So happy with this?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.